10 signs that you're an emotionally mature and intelligent person. When we think of someone who's emotionally mature, we typically picture a person who has an understanding of who they are, a person with high emotional intelligence. In other words, emotional maturity is when someone can manage their emotions no matter their conditions. They know how to react to tough circumstances and still keep them relaxed. Emotional maturity is the most important quality of great relationships. Unfortunately, we don't pick it up simply by going through puberty. We have to practice it, learn to heal our emotional pain, and slowly develop the character traits that allow us and our relationships to thrive. It's a long process, but the rewards, meaning, happiness, joy, are worth the effort. In this video, we'll see 10 signs that will tell you if you're an emotionally mature and intelligent person. Number 1. You know that people can't read your mind. There's no icon over your head telling others you're hungry, sad, angry, happy, frustrated, or depressed. You have to tell them. Instead of blaming people for not magically getting you, speak your mind to the best of your ability. Say what you really want, tell people how you really feel, and try your best to be calm and clear in the process. Being able to verbalize and communicate effectively brings benefits everywhere in your life. From emotional relationships to the business environment, most people fail because they're unable to communicate what they're feeling. And this internal frustration gets bottled up because they're not willing to put it out into the open and work on what needs fixing. Number 2. You know there's no time for passive-aggressive behavior in life. Life is short. It'll be over way too soon. There's no time for bottling up negative emotions. When something stings, try to pull out the thorn immediately. Tell people where it hurts. Help them help you. The faster you can go from pain to processing, from feeling to sharing, the faster you'll alleviate your own and other people's suffering. Number 3. You choose your words carefully before you respond. In both business and life, the outcome of conversations can completely change by just taking a few moments to think things through before coming back with a reply. More often than not, people don't care about what the other person is saying. Instead, they're just waiting for the opportunity to hear themselves talk. This shows how superficial conversations often tend to become. At the other end of the spectrum, you have people who are too emotionally involved in the conversation and respond too quickly without allowing the information to be distilled. These are people who take everything said to them literally, without ever really taking the time to figure out what the other person was trying to communicate. You should always figure out what your best options are for getting the outcome you actually desire. The opposite of emotional maturity in this case is seen in people who would rather burn bridges because in the heat of the moment, they act out of impulse instead of reason. Number 4. You are careful in your relationships. There's a difference between being good-natured and being gullible. Yes, you should believe in the best of people and hand out many trust advances, but sometimes even good intentions lead down a muddy road. No single person will solve all your problems. Everyone carries their own baggage, no matter how polished they look on the outside. Be grateful for the good relationships you have, but always be ready to reevaluate them. Take your time when you meet new people and make sure you get to know them well before giving them your unconditional trust. When you were less mature, you could develop a crush in an instant. When you grow and become more emotionally mature, you're poignantly aware that everyone, however extremely charming or accomplished, could be a bit of a pain from close up. Number 5. You respect diversity. In a perfect world, as long as a person doesn't harm us, our family, or society, it's none of our business what this person does. If we really can't resist the urge to judge someone though, and we pretty much all do it from time to time, a person who is emotionally intelligent and mature understands that the only factors that should be considered are this person's actions and behavior. Whether someone is a good person or not, it's not determined by the color of his skin or her skin, his or her sexual orientation, or his or her financial or social status. We use the word diversity a lot these days because discrimination is still a big problem in 2021. However, I hope that if you're still watching this video on YouTube in 2051, you'll see all humans as equal at a point where the word diversity doesn't even make sense anymore. I truly believe that we can reach such a level one day in the future, given that when it comes to discrimination today, the problem is certainly not because of the younger generations, with some rare exceptions. Generally, those who tend to discriminate the most are those who have never even tried to meet people from other backgrounds and cultures, and this has led them to have limiting beliefs that they carry with them throughout their entire life. Number 6. You expose yourself to opposite points of view in order to grow. Social media are a good representation of life when it comes to this point. For example, Facebook and YouTube algorithms have been coded to show you the content you agree with the most. So you click on the things that you like and agree with already, and you keep reinforcing your beliefs without ever questioning them with people with opposing points of view. An emotionally mature and intelligent person has the ability to understand, relate, and take value out of the opposite point of views. If a person has been successful in a certain field in life and you haven't, probably you should at least listen to what this person has to say. Of course, this doesn't mean that you need to take advice from everyone, but at least hear the other person's opinion and try to understand if there's anything useful that we can get out of it. Number 7. You know when to keep trying and when to cut your losses. The ability to simulate outcomes and predict the future is what allows us to decide correctly whether or not we should keep pursuing our particular project or cut our losses and move on. We don't need to win every battle in life. Sometimes in order to win the war, it's wise to just call it quits, admit defeat, and move on to the next battle. Pay attention to people who want to win at absolutely everything, even the smallest things, and in the process they're compromising their long-term success. Don't be that guy. Sometimes in order to take 2 steps forward, you need to first take a step back. Think strategically. Number 8. You don't care about what other people think. You realize the minds of others are muddled places, and you don't try so hard to polish your image in everyone's eyes. What counts is that you and the people you love are okay with you being you. You give up on fame and start to rely on love. Social pressure and social anxiety are big issues nowadays, but look at it this way. When you're 20, you care about what everyone thinks. When you're 40, you stop caring what everyone thinks. When you're 60, you realize no one was ever thinking about you in the first place. People have their own life and their own problems. Don't assume that they're constantly thinking about or judging you like they have nothing else to do. Just do your own things, respect others, care about your dear ones, and try not to get stressed about the little things in life. Number 9. You get better at hearing feedback and are not afraid of asking for help. Rather than assuming that anyone who criticizes you is either trying to humiliate you or is making a mistake, you accept that maybe it would be a good idea to take a few things on board. You start to see that you can listen to a criticism and survive it, without having to put on your armor and deny there was ever a problem. An emotionally mature and intelligent person is also not afraid of asking for help. Asking for help should not be seen as a sign of weakness. In fact, it takes a lot of strength to go over our ego and look for a solution that will help us in the long run. Of course, there are times when you need to face your battles alone, and although relying on others to fight your battles for you might bring immediate positive results, it actually hurts your ability to perform consistently in the long term. So don't be afraid to ask for help, but at the same time, respect other people's time and commitments. Number 10. You admit when you're wrong and take responsibility. This is the main focal point of this YouTube channel, taking responsibility for our actions. Being able to take responsibility for our actions is the first sign that someone has reached a good level of emotional maturity. For some reason, admitting you're wrong has such a bad rap because of ego. But the more you evolve, the more you understand that this isn't the case. Admitting when you're wrong is incredibly powerful because it allows you to adjust course based on information you didn't have or didn't understand before. This is a game changer for anyone who's serious about becoming a better version of themselves and not ending up like those blaming society at every opportunity to justify their failures. Some people keep digging themselves deeper and deeper through lies and tantrums, trying to convince themselves that they are not to blame for the lack of results. Some people would rather be right, even when it comes at the expense of the relationship with their significant other, rather than admitting to be wrong, which is pretty childish behavior. Now tell us, which of these 10 points do you feel you've mastered, and on which ones do you still have a lot of work to do? If you want to, let us know by leaving a comment down below. If you liked this video, don't miss the video The 9 Intelligence Types that you can find on this channel. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell if you haven't done so already, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the day.